Hi everyone, it's Harry. Well, the March numbers are in, and if you've received my newsletter, much of this is kind of a repeat of it. But if you haven't, here's my thought. What I've indicated earlier is pretty much coming to fruition. At the beginning of this year, I thought this year would replicate last year for a number of reasons, and it seems to be headed that way. The overall numbers for Calgary show that the average price is neutral to last year, sitting at about 641, 844 for all types of properties. We're in a kind of a balanced market with 2.9 months of supply. That means an inventory of about 5,400 homes. Our sales are down though, 13% at 1880, roughly 1881. Time to sell is up overall, well, about a month, 35 days. What has happened is not so much a change in inventory that's caused this balancing, but a lot of buyers sitting on the sidelines for quite a few reasons. And I think I've tried to describe that in the last 3 months, representing the first quarter. We're into our spring market where we should have seen a real bump up. We have seen a measurable increase, I guess, about, I want to say about 3% at most from February, but nothing significant. It's been muted by obviously the Iran war, which has inflationary effects. I've commented about this. Uh, this oil price increase, and I suspect we will see it maintain itself through the rest of the year, maybe on a lesser level than this $100 oil price. Some experts are saying that it's going to average $80 for the remaining of the year, obviously starting at 100 and maybe going back to the $60 range where it started by the end of the year, provided we don't have this prolonged situation where we had in Iraq, where this lasted for a long period of time. Um, Quite frankly, I don't trust the American president's continual pronouncement of it being a short war, or it's ending really soon. Um, it's just seeming like it'll grind onward. So that's inflationary. Obviously, energy prices, which is tied to everything that's delivered to us, will cause inflation across every service and product. What they fail to mention, they talk about this 20% of oil being moved through the Strait of Hormuz, which obviously affects everyone in the world. But people forget through that same area, oil is used in a lot of fertilizer production, especially related to liquefied natural gas from Qatar. Well, they fail to mention to everyone that 30% of the seaborne nitrogen fertilizers move through there. Um, and nitrogen has to be applied to food sources every year. You can't, unlike potash, you can't store nitrogen in the ground. So the cost for fertilizers will definitely go up. If you look at up, I'm just a student of investments, you'll see the huge increase of nitrogen urea fertilizers. So you can imagine the food costs are headed upward. So these are all inflationary effects that will hit us, which will depress our market. Hopefully, as things mute itself, and our economy in Canada and indirectly in Calgary isn't as robust as before, will with that and the combined inflation, hopefully the Bank of Canada doesn't raise interest rates, although there is a specter of potential two interest rate increases in the wind. But I think the biggest elephant in the room represents the upcoming CUSMA trade negotiations. If it doesn't go well, it's a big shoe to drop, and hopefully tariffs don't increase, they just stay the same way, and then we have a balance of things. But that just forecasts the next couple of years where we're headed. If it goes badly, I don't expect housing prices to really increase that much. Right now, my prediction for this year is pretty flat to last year, and while the averages hide a lot of sins, I think we'll see increases in the detached and semi-detached, but what'll draw it down is the oversupply in the condo area. Right now, the apartments are heavily oversupplied, given our reduced net migration into Alberta, both federally from the change in immigration policies and folks moving out around BC or Ontario. So overall, I see as balanced, but we'll see slight rises likely, or even flat to some degree in the semi-detached, detached areas as cost pressures push us. But I think row townhomes and apartment condos are going to take it in the teeth. They will be the balancing act on the negative side. So I think in the next year or so, it'll be a buyer's market eventually. Right now we're balanced, but I think we're headed to a balanced market because of the uncertainty. So hopefully, and a seller, I would say sell sooner rather than later. It'll keep the downside issues away from you. Right now, over the next year, I don't see an improvement in overall average housing prices in all markets, but there's a potential downside. So if you need to sell, please sell quickly. If you need to buy, you can afford to wait. But what I've noticed is that anecdotally, I went out for some of my clients to buy properties. There is competition for products that are good. Anything that's good can sell at or above list, and the stuff that's bad, well, expected to sell below lists, because the average is about a 2% variation to the final list price downward, that being 98% of the list price. So if that works out and you're getting more dollars for your property, there's a decent amount of other folks that are probably getting less than lists, and not to the 2% level, maybe 5% downward. So those are some thoughts you got to think about. I don't want to be doom and gloom about it. If you're well financed, great time to buy. If you're selling, as long as you're moving somewhere, up market, you're doing okay. Down market, I'm guessing you're neutral. I don't believe the market will fall, the market will fall out of itself. Historically, pre-COVID, we've seen our Calgary market, vary plus or minus 10% through bad times, but not a collapse. So I don't expect a collapse. So in the end, if you need to buy or sell, there's no problem right now, and I don't think you win either way. I think there's probably more wins on the buy side than the sell side. But otherwise, it's steady as she goes. As always, if you need any advice on real estate, please reach out. And if you need any service, also please reach out. And check out my YouTube channel, which this should be on. Or sign up for a newsletter. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Hopefully you dug yourself out of the snow. I live in the Northwest, so I got the 20 centimeters of the 10 to 20 centimeters that everyone kind of was expecting. I guess the pleasure of living in the North. Otherwise, have a great day.